Where are you going to find boys very often made with Bobby Charlton?
I don't particularly like playing against him. I always feel that sometimes he's going to run past me and leave me sat on my backside and I'm going to look a right fool.
He was like a gazelle in movement.
The ambition is to catch him once. You know, to give him a start and catch him. I don't think I could, but I would like to try.
Charlton. Oh, what a goal!
I adored it. You know, Bobby Charlton, he was more or less my international idol.
Redknapp. Held it too long. Law. Bobby Charlton!
He's not only skillful and has a lot of ability, you know, a wonderful player, respected throughout the whole world.
I was very, very fortunate, actually, because I started, you could say I started at the top because I came to a fashionable club, Manchester United, you know. I did quite well.
It used to give me a thrill to see him on the move, gliding past people, and then hitting this ball. It was one of the joys I used to have in football.
And Charlton will oblige with a shot and a goal by Bobby Charlton.
At 20, he was a member of Manchester United's most famous team, the Busby Babes. They went to Belgrade in the European Cup, and on their way back, they stopped at Munich.
I knew that we were running off the runway, and then we hit a house, and I don't remember anything till after it was all over. I must have been out for about 10 minutes. Although it seemed as though I just closed my eyes, you know. I consider myself the most fortunate, you know, because not only was I alive, but I had no serious injury or anything. When you think of the accident itself, how many were killed.
Instead of just being a young player who was just breaking into the first team, suddenly I was, everybody was looking at me as though I was one of the experienced ones, and that happened because of the accident. I felt as though suddenly I had responsibility. You know, people expected more of me suddenly, and that's how it affected me, really. There was a great desire, you know, to make sure that the club had to keep going. You know, it couldn't possibly go under. You're playing against the best in Europe, and we played against Benfica of Portugal, the Eusebio, Coluna, you know, the fantastic players that they had, really excellent players. But we knew that we were good enough to win. We won at the end of the day comfortably, although it was an extra time. We won 4-1. But I remember it's a tough game. It's the European show. You know, that even people in the country, you know, that wanted Man United to win because of what had happened with Munich and the emotion of Sir Matt Busby being there. It was a special occasion.
The dream of Matt Busby started back in 1956 when Manchester United first took part in the European Champions Cup has finally been realised.
People seem to forget that in the 3 years before 1966, England were almost unbeaten. We went everywhere and we were winning. I can always remember 1966 as being, well, we better win this because we're expected to, really, you know. And the first game, because it was held in England anyway, you know, we were favourites. And I remember the first game when everybody was really disappointed. It was a 0-0 draw. South Americans coming, putting up the shutters, and you know, we still had a couple of games where we could expect to still progress. And we beat Mexico, we beat France. So we qualified for the quarterfinals. There were only 16 teams in it then. Then Argentina, which was the toughest match against the toughest team, the best team other than ourselves in the competition, I thought. When Ratin was sent off controversially and wouldn't accept it. And when we beat them in the quarterfinals 1-0, we went to the semi-finals. And by this time, you know, the country's all going, you know, we can do it. And we beat Portugal. They had Eusebio, who was maybe, you know, one of the world's greatest players at that particular time, and he was at his peak. He was the leading goal scorer in the competition. But we beat them 2-1 in the semi-final, and been sort of cosseted and kept away from the media a good deal of the time, because everybody was coming at us, you know, suddenly. We're down the high street in Hendon, and everybody, the butchers were, you know, oh, good luck today, lads, and all this, you know. And it was just, and then I think Ray Wilson said to me, you know, I never realised, you know, exactly how important it is, but this is important today.
These are fetching £20 a piece in London. They're for Saturday for the cup final. Now, I must sell them. What am I bid?
We were on the bus going from Hendon Hall, and we have a little way that we used to pick our way through without meeting all the traffic through to Wembley, and it took us through a part of Hendon where all the fire engines were, and I'd never noticed the fire engine doors open before. I'm like every kid, you know, so I wonder if I'll see the fire engines coming out one day. But the doors were never open when I drove past, except when we were going to the game, and then suddenly we're all looking at it, and everybody's there waving, you know, and the fire engines were out. They were out, and all the lads, the firemen, were there, and the bells were ringing, you know, and I thought, oh, my goodness.
Chipped down Hurst, a chance, a goal! It's there! It's there! Hurst. And a chance in it! Yes! It's Martin Peters! Martin Peters! Emery. Oh! It's there! It's the equaliser! It's the equaliser! And it's Weber, Wolfgang Weber. There's Harold Ramsey, the England manager. How disappointed he must feel there. England less than 15 seconds, I would say, from picking up the World Cup. Alan Ball. Hurst here now. Hurst! Yes! No, they haven't given it. The linesman says no goal. The linesman says no goal. It is a goal. It is a goal. They've given it. It is a goal. Hurst is the scorer. Shep Hurst, the scorer. Hurst goes forward. He might make it 3. He has! He has! And that's it! That's it! What a sight! What an incredible sight! England have won the World Cup, there's no doubt about that. 4-2. 4-2, it's all over. Well, what an incredible finish.
It was the toughest competition that you could play against. The best footballers in the world. And if for you to come out on top, your team, it's something that'll stay with you forever. In fact, I said to our kid at the final whistle, and he said, well, what about that kid, you know? And I said, well, our lives are never going to be the same again after this, because there was the highest peak you can ever reach as a footballer. And of course, the greatest sporting moment that's ever happened in this country. So, and there's not a day goes past, even today, when people don't come to me and talk about the World Cup. Never, not one day. That's how important it was. So we were glad that we did it. And I think you get a bit of pride as a footballer as well, that you think, well, you know, I'm up there with everybody else as being one of the best. It's a milestone, isn't it? I mean, if a cricketer feels good, you know, when he scores a century, to play 100 times for anybody, never mind for your country, is just sensational. It was magic. I mean, what can you expect? You try to play down these events, but it was just something that you never ever forget. And I scored a soft goal. Pat Jennings tried to come out and get a cross from Emlyn Hughes, and he didn't quite make it, and he touched it, and he knocked it right in my path, and I just helped it over the line, which everybody said, oh, it's great, celebrating his 100th cap. But I looked at it as though, well, I still have a few more to get you.
Burns, and a chance for this. The three of them there. Charlton done it, and Bobby Charlton has broken the Manchester United goal-scoring record.
Be confident, that's the secret.
I try to think of it as logically as I can. I obviously can't play forever, and once I finish playing, then I've got to think of what I'm going to do afterwards. I have my ideas that I might be able to succeed on the other side of football, which is the administration side.
I can't tell people how much it means to me, you know, to be associated with this club. I was lucky enough to be here as a player. I'm now a director. We work hard all the time to produce good football, and we like to think that we're progressing all the time. And it's just been terrific.
Still lead to Bobby Charlton. Bobby Charlton! He's there!
Football to me is just my life. You know, I eat, sleep and drink football. But when I wake up in the morning, I think who we're playing next Saturday, who we're playing today. You know, I think of nothing else.
McDougall to Charlton!
I'm pleased to be involved in it, really, still. And although I can't play anymore, I get my pleasure still on a Saturday morning when I wake up, and it's match day.